Welcome to Women of a Certain Stage, the podcast redefining how we think about menopause. I'm your host, Laura Dixon, a passionate advocate for breaking the stigma and empowering individuals to navigate this transformational stage of life with confidence and clarity. Here, we're diving into a new era of menopause support, featuring expert advice, real-life stories, and actionable insights. Whether you're curious about building your personal menopause plan or you're looking to make an impact, you're in the right place. Let's embrace the change together. So, Laura, I'm super excited to have this conversation with you because we chat when it's coming up to time for you to jump onto the menopause coach program and support my students. But I'd really love to hear more about your journey into emotional freedom technique and what's clinical emotional freedom technique, and how did that all come about?
Well, this is a great question, actually. So a lot of the time, personal training, let's say, for example, so I have people coming for personal training and I've had clients show up where they're just not in a great state, very anxious. And I'm like, is today like a tapping day? And they're like, yes. And so we can switch. Or more physically, if their bodies are just not having personal training, yes, we switch over and do a yoga session. Yeah, for sure. So I'm Laura Dixon. I am a clinical EFT practitioner. So that's where the word clinical comes in. I'm also a personal trainer and yoga instructor. And so while I was training people, doing yoga with people, I noticed there was a mindset shift that was needed. A lot of people come to personal trainers, obviously, for weight loss. So there was a mindset shift that needed to change. And I happened to stumble upon this book called Mind to Matter by Dawson Church. And it was all around EFT. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, also known as tapping. So this book, Mind to Matter, was all around EFT, the scientific history and the background and evidence behind why it works. A lot of it really talking about PTSD and how tapping can work for something as serious as PTSD. And this really grabbed my attention. So from there, I did my course, to become a clinical EFT practitioner. And here I am today working with people using tapping. Clinical EFT really means is the difference between, sometimes we followed something on YouTube or like a group, right? And so it's very general. And we will do a general tapping today, but they don't necessarily know the exact points, all of that. And nothing wrong with that. Just saying that's very general. But with clinical EFT, there are actually 48 different techniques that you learn.
Wow.
Yes, to go through with people, right? So if someone's, getting really upset, right? There are different techniques to bring them down, and parking something. There's all these different techniques to really help somebody move through the issue or problem or what they're dealing with. So it's quite thorough, and honestly, it's an amazing course. I love it. Yeah, it's fantastic.
And so you've got that blend of the training and the yoga and the EFT as well. So when you're working with people, do you tend to switch in and out of modalities, or do people come to you for specific things?
Well, this is a great question, actually. So a lot of the time, personal training, let's say, for example, so I have people coming for personal training and I've had clients show up where they're just not in a great state, very anxious. And I'm like, is today like a tapping day? And they're like, yes. And so we can switch. Or more physically, if their bodies are just not having personal training, yes, we switch over and do a yoga session. So it really is amazing. And I think my clients really appreciate that. And I mean, some people sign up just for the EFT, right? Like they're looking to work with that. Yeah. But I can definitely, and I have definitely shifted from one modality to the other, depending, especially with women in perimenopause, menopause, lots of anxiety. And there's no point trying to push through a workout when you're just like, I can just usually feel if their anxiety, they're so in their head right now. It's like, okay, so let's do some tapping. And then they feel so much better when they leave. And it's so fantastic. So.
Yeah, I think, I worked as a personal trainer for a number of years, and my go-to, if someone was, in the wrong time of their cycle, they were challenged with their fertility, or they were, maybe having one of those menopausal days. But at the time, I wasn't really menopause aware, to be fair, when I was a PT. I have to be honest about that. But my go-to would be, is this a massage day? And that would be my switch out, and I'd go into my massage room and make it all lovely for them and then do them a treatment instead of a training session.
Oh, yeah.
But the temptation, I think, for them was always like, oh, could I have a massage on any off day? And then I'd be like, no, today's a PG day. You're going to train. You're going to train.
I'm actually thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would so be like, oh, can we go do a massage today instead? Because I enjoy massages so much.
Right.
Yeah,
I know.
that's amazing. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, but
But
definitely for especially women going through perimenopause, because and menopause, right? It's such a stressful time
yeah,
of our lives, right? We have so many things going on. You know, we might have aging parents. Our children are likely at a very busy time, whether they're preteens, teens, or young adults, right? They're very busy.
yeah.
Our bodies are doing things that we don't know. We're doing the same thing we've always done, and all of a sudden we're putting on weight, and our body is changing, putting on weight in different places. All of this stuff is going on, right? Our careers, we may be at a very demanding time in our careers, or it may be a time where we're switching careers, right? So either
Yeah.
or, very stressful, right? All of this added on to the hormonal fluctuations that are going on. And it's like a vicious cycle, right? We've got these hormonal fluctuations causing us to be stressed and anxious. We've got this busy time, and then all that stress is exacerbating the hormonal fluctuations, right? So it's a vicious cycle going around and around. So that's where it's super important to use tools like EFT, these stress management tools, to kind of take control and help to manage those emotions and those mood swings and all of that that's going on, regulate those hormones, calm our central nervous system down.
Yep.
So, right, we can start to manage all of this stress a little bit better. And it really is an amazing tool to do that. Yeah.
You know, I've just come off a call just before we started recording this. I've just come off a call with one of my clients who's based out in Peru, and they have about 80 people over there. So they're a global firm, and they're managing a massive project over there. And we've just been talking about well-being, and the two things that they were talking to me about, and we had quite a debate about what they actually meant, but they used the words resilience and stress, right? And I think people mean different things when they say the word resilience, and different people mean different things when they say the word stress.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, do you do corporate work?
Yes, I am totally open to corporate work. I'll be honest, I haven't done it yet. I have talked to many people about it. And maybe just where I'm situated, I'll be honest, I found I've brought it up to where, because I used to work corporate, and people, it's a bit woo-woo, like feels a bit like maybe it's a bit out there for some people, but I know there are some corporate where they'd be totally open to it, because honestly, if I could just go in and do a session, I know people would feel that relief, and they would feel that stress release like right away, that people would grasp onto it, because I'd love to do some tapping here just so people can feel it and then be like, wow, no, something's happening. Like even in the quick one we can do 5 minutes, you can feel the whole body release and relax down. So I'd love to.
We'll definitely come to that, and we'll do that today. So I'm excited, because the idea is that, of having this conversation today is that you get to showcase that and show people how powerful even something as small as 5 minutes. But remind me after today's session to talk to you about corporate, because I've got a few ideas and a few people I'd like to chat about. But right, that I mean, that's why I love about podcasts, because you start thinking about lots of different things, and different topics come up as well.
Yeah.
So, we've been working together now for a while. You've delivered clinical EFT tapping for a number of my cohorts. And, how have you found that? How have you found the students? What sort of reactions and feedback have you had from them? How's that going for you?
I absolutely love it. I mean, I love talking about EFT. I love talking or working with people with it. Your group, honestly, is so amazing. They're so engaged, and it's so great, right? And they're so amazed. Like when we've done some tapping on stress, they're like, wow, like that. Like just some of them, the numbers go from like an 8 to a 2, right? They go down so much. I really enjoy it. I love to see how people take EFT, right? And then I have them reach out after they're so amazing. They're like, I love that. That was so great. Whether they've tried tapping before and it's kind of excited them to get back into it, because it's like a lot of tools we have. And sometimes people forget about it, or it's like working out. People, I haven't done that for a while, right? Oh, you've inspired me to get back into it. Right? It happens. So anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure working with your group, and they are just an amazing group. Actually, it's not all women. There are some men in there as well. Right. Yeah. Which I love. I love that the men are getting involved too. But yeah, I really enjoy it. yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I just love their reactions and their engagement. It's fantastic.
I just remembered you did a grad session for me as well, didn't you? And my mum was there.
Yes. Yes.
You remember?
Yes.
My mum just had her knee replacement after waiting 3 years. She's
Oh.
just had her knee replacement last week.
Oh my gosh. And how's she feeling so far?
She's entering that rehab period. So
yeah, that's a tough part.
She's on, she's amazing, like in her 80s, and she's already up and walking, and giving my dad all the instructions of what she wants and how she wants it. So yeah, but I think she was obviously in a lot of physical pain, but she loved the fact that just by going through the tapping, she got that few minutes just to sit there, to be relaxed, to focus on herself, and to just tap into, I didn't even mean to say that, right? But to tap into that kind of relaxation state. And I just love that for her. So I don't know if I said a proper thank you at the time, but I definitely want to say thank you.
Oh, yes. That. Your mom was so cute, because I think we did we did an actual specific one on her because she was in so much pain.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's so good to hear. She was lovely.
Oh, do you want to take us away? Do you want to talk about how you start a session, what's involved?
Yeah, for sure. So what I love to do, whether it be on a podcast or with a group, is do some tapping on stress, because I think everybody can relate. Everybody can relate. Because I do feel women, especially like I said, in perimenopause, menopause, very stressed. Mind is always spinning, overwhelmed, so much to do. So just as you said how your mom felt doing some tapping, just to take that moment for yourself and really to tune in and do some tapping on yourself feels really good. So if someone came for a tapping session, obviously we would, talk general, just kind of, and a lot of the times, whether I start with a meditation or we do some general tapping just to kind of calm their bodies down. And then we get really specific into what their issues are. But what we'll do today is a general tapping on stress. So what I always have people do is just take a moment right now just to tune in to how stressed you are. Okay, whether your word's stressed or overwhelmed or busy, whatever your word is, where on a scale of 0 to 10 is that stress? Okay, with 0 being not stressed at all, 10 being like super stressed. So just take a moment. I always have either people write it down somewhere. I always like to have people write it down, because I find afterwards they're like, there's no way I was at that number. So just write that number, right? They don't believe it, right? So write the number from 0 to 10. Again, 0 being not feeling stressed at all, 10 being feeling extremely stressed. And then also just tune in and see if you feel that anywhere in your body. So, I'm super stressed. Where do you feel that? Some people, everybody's different. Shoulders, chest, stomach, everyone feels that stress. And if you don't feel it anywhere, that's okay too. But just take a moment. You can even close your eyes, tune in, and notice if you feel that stress anywhere. And if you do, just give it a description, what it feels like. And then on that scale again, from 0 to 10, where is that feeling? Right? Maybe it's a tightness in your chest. It's at an 8 right now, right? With feeling that stress. Okay. Maybe that's why just, again, write it down, and then we'll do some tapping. So actually what we're going to do, I'm going to show you the points quickly before we go through. And when we go through a session, it's kind of like Simon says, so you just follow along. So this point here is called the karate chop point. So if we're just listening in, it's the side of the hand below the pinky. So you're just using your other hand to tap, and it doesn't matter which side we do. Okay, so any of these sides, it doesn't matter which side we do. So again, karate chop point or side of hand, just below that pinky. Sometimes I call it the meaty part of our hand. Okay, and then there's the eyebrow point. So that's right where the eyebrow meets the bridge of the nose. Okay, and again, you could do one side here, you could do both, you could do either. Okay, so that's right where the eyebrow meets the bridge of the nose. Okay, and then side of the eye is just at the side of the eye. Okay, under the eye is like that cheekbone bone right under the eye. Under the nose is just under the nose. That one's easy. Okay, under the mouth is just under the mouth. Okay, and then the collarbone point is like those 2 nodules. If you feel your collarbone, it's just like an inch below that. Okay, and again, you could do one side, you could do the other, you could do both. You could even do it with one hand and hit both. Okay, so just below that collarbone, those 2 nodules. So we're quite at the center here. Okay, and then under the arm is just under the arm for us women. It's like our bra strap point. Okay, right under the armpit. And then top of the head is just in the center at the top of the head. Okay, so those are the points we're going to use today. There are other points in tapping and using the different techniques, but those are the points we're going to use today. Okay, so let's tune into our stress. We've got our numbers down, all of that. So let's start tapping. So we're going to all come to the side of our hand, again, just below the pinky, using your fingers on the other hand to tap. And I'll leave some empty space and you can repeat after me. So this is how tapping would go. Okay. And the first sentence is longer, so I'll break it up into chunks. Okay. So even though I feel so overwhelmed and full of anxiety,
I feel so overwhelmed and full of anxiety,
I accept all of these feelings.
I accept all of these feelings.
Okay. Even though
I
have so much going on right now,
I have so much going on right now,
I have compassion for myself and I'm okay.
I have compassion for myself and I'm okay.
Okay. Even though
I
am so busy and stressed right now,
I am so busy and stressed right now,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
All right, so let's come to that eyebrow point, which again, where the eyebrow meets the bridge of the nose. Okay, I am so stressed.
I am so stressed.
Okay, side of the eye. I feel so overwhelmed.
I feel so overwhelmed.
Okay, under the eye. There are so many things to do right now.
There are so many things to do right now.
Okay, under the nose. Sometimes I don't even know where to start.
Sometimes I don't know where to start.
Under the mouth. And I'm just so tired of all of this.
I'm just so tired of all of this.
Okay, collarbone point. I feel so much anxiety.
I feel so much anxiety.
Let's just take a moment to take a nice deep breath. And if we felt something in our bodies, so maybe it was a tightness in our chest, let's just take a nice deep breath into that tightness in our chest or wherever it was for you, okay? Good. And then under the arm, I want to get everything done for everybody.
I want to get everything done for everybody.
Okay, top of the head, but it's so much right now.
But it's so much right now.
All right, so we'll come back to that eyebrow point, again, where that eyebrow meets the bridge of the nose. I am so busy.
I am so busy.
Okay, side of the eye, I have no time for me.
I have no time for me.
I love your little eye rolls, Lauren. Under the eye, I feel so irritable.
I feel so irritable.
Okay, under the nose, and sometimes everybody just drives me crazy.
And sometimes everybody just drives me crazy.
Okay, under the mouth, I feel so overwhelmed.
I feel so overwhelmed.
Okay, collarbone point, so tired of making decisions.
So tired of making decisions.
All right, let's take another nice deep breath here into that space where we feel our stress. Good. Under the arm, I don't always feel like I'm being my best self.
I don't always feel like I'm being my best self.
Okay, top of the head, and I want this feeling to go away.
And I want this feeling to go away.
All right, back to the eyebrow point. All of this overwhelm.
All of this overwhelm.
Right, side of the eye, all of this stress.
All of this stress.
Let's take a nice deep breath here. Good. Under the eye, my mind is always spinning.
My mind is always spinning.
Let's take another nice deep breath here. Good. Under the nose, and I don't always feel good enough.
Sometimes I don't always feel good enough.
Good. Let's take another nice deep breath here. Good. Under the mouth, but I'm ready to have some compassion for myself.
But I'm ready to have some compassion for myself.
Okay, collarbone point. I'm ready to release some of this overwhelm.
I'm ready to release some of this overwhelm.
Okay, let's take another nice deep breath here. Good. Under the arm, I'm ready to release some of this stress.
I'm ready to release some of this stress.
Okay, top of the head, and I'm ready to take care of me.
I'm ready to take care of me.
Good. Let's slowly stop tapping. Take a nice deep breath. Good. Now I just wanted to check in. Well, first let's ask Lauren. Lauren, how do you feel after doing that tapping?
Very chilled.
Right?
Very chilled. Yeah, it was really funny.
Yeah. And so for everyone listening, I want you to check in with that first number, 0 to 10, on, that stress level, overwhelm level, where you just felt super stressed. And just notice where that number is now, with, again, 0 being not feeling it at all, 10 being feeling super stressed. Okay. So even a drop of one number there is huge. We did 5 minutes of tapping. Right. So if you found that really helpful, just rewind and go back and do it again, because the more you do it, you'll probably likely see the numbers go down even more. Okay. And then second, if you had a body sensation, whether it was a tightness in your chest or in your shoulders, just check in on that feeling. And sometimes you need to take a moment, just take a moment, check in, see how that feels again on that scale of 0 to 10. And again, even a drop of one number is fantastic, right? That was a really quick tapping. So what I would do if we were working one-on-one is, we check in with your numbers, and then, we would then go from there. So a lot of the times when we tap, memories come up, different thoughts come up. And so we start to drill down, we get a little bit more specific. So I always say, don't disregard anything that came up. So a lot of times we'd be like, oh my gosh, I had this random memory of being 5 years old and blah, blah, blah. So we look at that, because there's usually something held in there. And what they say is that when that happens, is like the subconscious is releasing this memory to be released. So you've calmed the stress down enough. It's releasing that. It feels safe enough to release that memory. And then we tap on that and we look at that as well.
I really love that, because it's very similar in coaching. Sometimes you'll ask what you think is a really simple, straightforward question, and before you know it, the floodgates have opened and you've got the beginnings of War and Peace coming out, and you have to manage that.
Yes.
But the fact that you're actually looking for that to come up, and that you've got further techniques to manage that and support someone through that as well, I think is really remarkable.
Yeah.
And when you're seeing your clients and, different things are coming up, and I know you do work with a lot of people in perimenopause and menopause, which is obviously why, I wanted to invite you to share your expertise with my coach grads. And I'm just curious, do you see there are certain themes that keep coming up, or do you find everyone's really different? What do you see in your practice?
What I would say, I always say, am I allowed to swear on here? Everybody's got their shit.
Yeah.
You know what? Everybody thinks they're the only ones. Honestly, everybody has shit. Like, whether something that's happened years ago, stuff going on now, everybody has issues, right? I do say that.
Yeah.
I do feel a common theme, or what a lot of it comes down to, is I'm not good enough. I'm not doing enough. As women, that is a really common. So I try to let people find that themselves. So with EFT, it's not like if you were seeing a therapist, they're going to kind of be like, well, you're saying I'm not good enough, right? What happened? And I just kind of guide people, and that's what usually they're able to then be like, oh my gosh, it's really feeling inadequate, not good enough. I'm not doing enough. I know I struggle with this myself when I go to explore, and I use tapping quite often on myself, and I'm like, well, that's what it's coming down to. Right.
Yes.
And as women, that's why we're perfectionists. There's all these things because we feel like we're just not good enough as we are. So the tapping.
I've got a question I'm going to come back to in a minute.
Don't forget it. I'd be like, oh darn, I forgot it.
Yeah.
It's really, so with tapping is, we're ultimately trying to accept ourselves just as we are right here, right now. So whether we're working on weight loss, whether we're working on your job goals, whether we're working on relationships, anything we're working on, because tapping can really be used for anything. It's really getting to where you accept yourself. So like we said at that first sentence, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. That is very hard at the beginning. So if that felt hard for you, you're definitely not alone. Right? When people first say that sentence, I know my eyes bulge up. I'm like, I've never said that to myself before. Right. Yeah. And some people, if it doesn't feel true, we kind of back it up a bit. Right. We say, I'm okay. Or I could maybe choose to love and accept myself. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So back in just where it becomes believable, because we don't want to tap if it doesn't feel believable when we're reframing.
Yeah.
So that is definitely a common theme, is not being good enough. But I will say, there is so much stuff going on that where it is different is that people all have their different stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of it.
Yeah. We have something similar in coaching as well. And when people are doing their they're doing their plans or their goals or objectives, and they're looking at what their actions are taking forward. And sometimes like, I know this is what I want to achieve, but it's not available to me. So we're like, well, how about if I became a person who was becoming,
Yes.
I am becoming someone who can.
Yes.
And it almost has a connection with the brain and now
I can
allows the
believe
brain
that.
to go from that fight, flight, freeze, which no, that's not accessible, to
Yes.
I'm becoming someone who can. And then we put the words in. And that just seems to land better with the brain.
Yeah.
The brain can accept that. And I think that's quite interesting, how different modalities approach something similar, but
Yes.
just in a different way.
Exactly.
And the thing that popped into my mind was, I know when we do the sessions on, I've just got a wee thinking here. When we do the sessions on Menopause Coach Program, we've been using stress, right? That's what you've done with all the cohorts. But one of the things that does come up quite often when we get to the end of the program, and you're kind of positioned at the kind of 2/3 of the way through your session, I've just realized that a lot of the conversation I have with students can be around, actually, they've got to have the perfect website. They've got to have the perfect offer. They've got to have the perfect price point. And it's like, how do we move them back to a place of progress, not perfection? It's better done than not at all.
Yeah.
And, I think we maybe we'll look at something in that space going forward, or maybe that'll be a bonus session that we have a conversation around.
And right when they're really trying to build up their business.
Yeah.
Right. So wherever that is in your point, because there's so much, people, and then they, like you said, they freeze. Right. Because there's so much to do. And then you're like, oh my gosh, what if, I also listen to a podcast called The Life Coach School, which is absolutely fantastic. She's so good, Brooke Castillo. And she always says, what if you could do B- work? And like, for someone who's a perfectionist, it's like, can't get, like, even I think, I'm like, God, I never got a B- in school, right? Like, what is that? But
do you know how many people would give their right arm to be able to say that?
Right? But what if you could do that and all of a sudden it's
be okay with it?
And be okay with it? Because that's what's stopping most of us from doing the things we want to do, is that it has to be perfect. I am definitely guilty of this myself.
So could my grads come to you for sessions online?
Yes. Yeah. So I do actually most of my sessions online. And that's like a personal training client that comes, and then we've switched over to I do basically all of them online. So so I can it's accessible to anyone in the world, which is fantastic.
Fantastic. So obviously anyone that's listening, all your details are going to be in the show notes, but rather than anyone having to go and find that, just in case they're listening and dashing off, where is the best place for them to contact you?
For sure. So Instagram, I'm on there as Dixon Vitality. So my last name is Dixon. Vitality, Vitaliti. So you could definitely find me there. You could reach out there as well. That's probably the best spot. And because then we can connect from there. And if we, want to move it over email or whatever, we can connect through there. So that's definitely the best spot. To reach me. And like we just said, I can work with anybody, anywhere, online. For sure.
And I'm going to throw this in there because it's too good an opportunity not to ask, but you are a personal trainer.
Yes, I am.
And I know you've been doing that for a while.
Yes.
And we share a background in financial services as well, right? We've got a lot of commonality.
We do.
But if you were talking to somebody who perhaps they had come to you for EFT, but actually they were also switched over and doing a bit of personal training, what are the kind of top 1, 2, or 3 tips that you would give to someone going through perimenopause or menopause when it comes to training?
Yeah, for sure. So strength training, for sure. And what I find is most of us growing up, when we think we has to be this high intensity interval training, right? So HIIT workouts, great. And that's why so many people don't do it, because it's like, basically you have to have an hour-long sweat session or it's not worth it. So I would say lift weights. Think about lifting heavy weights. If you're finding, my second tip, if you're finding you're not doing it, start with 10 minutes. What can I do for 10 minutes? And know what I love to do. If sometimes when I'm like, what do I want to do? Start with squats. Okay. Most of us know what a squat, right? Plank and some high knees, right? Alternate those for a minute, 3 times. There's 9 minutes. You probably had a little rest in there. It's 10 minutes. And what happens is when you do, you actually end up doing more. Right. And the other thing I would recommend is adding mobility work in there because we're all
Yeah.
really sore and tight. And I see it with
Hmm.
everybody like, oh my gosh, why is my body doing this? Right. But nobody's stretching.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
whether it's yoga or just stretching, yeah, adding that
Yeah.
mobility work in because I see the relief on people too. Again, with personal training, I
Yeah.
think it's about time for a yoga session. And again, if it's where they're in their cycle, it's like
Hmm.
let's make this a yoga. And
Yeah.
then they're like, oh, I need to do more of this. And women, people, we're not alone. If you don't do it, everyone thinks I
Yeah.
try to do and I can't. I'm like, I know, that's why I
Yeah.
do what I do.
Yeah.
Most people can't, just don't do it on their own. I say it's 80-20. I
Yeah.
say 20% can do it on their own, 80% do not. So
Hmm.
you're not
Yeah.
alone. Don't be ashamed.
Hmm.
Either just
Yeah.
go and do it or find somebody that can help you do it.
That really resonates with me. I mean, I'm a former PT. I've been qualified for over 25 years, and it's not like I don't know what to do,
Yeah.
but I still go through periods where I don't even look at. I've got weights at home as
Yeah.
well as being a member of 2 gyms. And recently I just said to myself back in November, like, right, I'm going to do classes. Now, classes for me was like the absolute last thing I would ever do. I like to go in, hit the weights,
Yeah.
get done, get out. But I actually started doing a couple of classes a week and I was so out of breath and I found it really hard.
Mhm.
And today I went in and I was like, I've got these sequences now and I felt really good. And
Yeah.
I could feel my heart and lungs working, but I was staying
In a
up.
good
I
zone.
was doing the higher intensity versions. I was, lifting heavier weights. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, and it's amazing how quickly,
Oh, yes.
if you are consistent,
Yeah.
that this does, build back up again.
Oh, it does.
So
Yes, for sure. And
yeah,
that's where, like most people go through the roller
yeah.
coaster, especially with
Hmm.
movement, right? So be compassionate with yourself. Don't
Yes.
be ashamed. This happens to many people. I get that.
Yeah.
I know I am lucky that I love movement so much that I really there's not a day that goes by that I'm not doing, but that I understand I'm a rare,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
that's my
Yeah.
goal, is just to help people move in a way
Yeah.
where it's challenging, but you're not dying at the end, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just finding that place where it's like, it's a
Yeah.
little voice like asking, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Right. So it's that challenge, but you're not like leaving here wanting so fatigued and can't get on with the rest of your day.
Oof. Yeah. I know I was driving out of the gym today going, hey, I feel good. I can take on anything. I can even
Right.
record a podcast today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's yes, like working out, obviously,
Mhm.
all those good feeling hormones, all your endorphins, all of
Yeah.
that too. It's such and to feel strong, I just find doing certain
Yeah.
activities everyday activities where you
Yeah.
just feel strong. You're like, I got this. And I also play
Yeah.
hockey too. And I
Mhm.
love through the mobility and everything, just feeling
Yeah.
strong, like with strong shot and core, with the core that's you're used to play. And
Yeah.
anyway,
Mhm.
yeah. I do love
Oh,
movement. So I just
amazing.
love helping other people because I understand it doesn't come easily for a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to be joining your Friday morning yoga class soon.
You
So
are.
that is exciting as
Yes, I
well.
know. I
So,
can't wait to have you. Yes, that is great. It's
oh,
honestly, so I am in Canada. I'm Eastern Standard Time. So it's early morning Eastern Standard Time, but I just tell people it's like roll out of bed, get on your mat. You don't even have to have the camera on. Right. And people are like, oh, really? I can just do that. I'm like 100%. And so
yeah.
that's what's got people in there. Like the feedback has been, honestly, like I'm not asking for it, but they're like, it is so good. They're like, I was intimidated by yoga, but it's just been so, because it's very gentle. I
Mhm.
understand it's 5:30 in the morning for everyone who's on there.
Yeah.
And so it's just we do a nice gentle warm
Yeah.
up. Cause I find I follow some yoga classes and you're getting right
Mhm.
into everything quick. And I'm like, whoa, my body's not warmed
Wait a
up yet.
minute.
Right. I like
Yeah.
to kind of ease into it,
Yeah.
especially at 5:30 in the morning. So,
Exactly. And I've actually cleared the space out in my bedroom that my yoga mat fits in perfectly.
perfect.
So I've got no excuses now
Right. Oh
whatsoever.
my gosh, I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Yeah, and I love that it's online because it's accessible
Yeah.
to anybody. So I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing. Laura, I am so delighted that we connected
me too.
all those years ago, that you have joined us in the Menopause Coach Diploma program, and you've again graced me with your time today. So thank you so much
Yes, thank
for
you
your
for having me.
generosity. Can't wait to work with you again in the future.
Yes, me too. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
All right, take care.
Thank you for joining me on Women of a Certain Stage. I hope today's episode inspired you to think differently about menopause and the incredible opportunities this stage of life brings. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with 3 friends who need to hear this message. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps us reach even more people. You can connect with me on LinkedIn at Lauren Churin or visit our website at womenofacertainstage.com to learn more about menopause coaching, inspiring events, and corporate training. Until next time, let's continue making a difference, one conversation at a time.